From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, July 3rd. It's going to be partly cloudy. There is an isolated chance of a shower or storm, but not a great chance. It'll stay mostly to the east of Indianapolis. High temperatures are in the mid-80s. Lots of heat and humidity. And tomorrow, the 4th of July, mostly sunny, very hot and humid with highs in the upper 80s. We are following breaking news out of southern Indiana. A shooting has halted most services at Perry County Memorial Hospital. That's in Tell City along the Ohio River. State police released first word of the shooting just before 4 this morning. We're now working to find out exactly when it happened, how many people are hurt, and what led to the gunfire. For now, only the emergency room is open and only through the south entrance. State police say there is no current danger to the public. State police also say they'll release new information, including names of those involved any moment this morning. Listeners, you can find the very latest information at wishtv.com. In central Indiana, services are set for Aaron Smith, the trooper killed last week, hit by a car as he tried to stop a chase. Visitation is Thursday from 2 to 8 at the Greenwood campus of Emmanuel Church. The funeral service is also there Friday at 11 a.m. After the service, a procession will take Smith's body to Crown Hill Cemetery. We're waiting for word on the exact route and any stops along the way. State police say Smith will be buried with police and military honors because he also served in the National Guard. And today, Franklin will be paying tribute to Trooper Smith at the city's annual Firecracker Festival. The Franklin Community Band will play a concert in the amphitheater at Youngs Creek Park. The patriotic-themed show will include a moment of silence for Smith. It starts at 5:30. Bargersville authorities are trying to figure out who set off a firework that injured a man in his car. The fire department said on social media that it happened last night on State Road 135 and Smoky Row Road. Firefighters say the victim told them a mortar firework launched into his vehicle, then exploded. Authorities said he was stable at the hospital. Anyone with information is asked to call Bargersville police. In Fort Wayne, a teenager is in critical condition as police search for the driver who hit him. Police say it happened yesterday afternoon at the intersection of St. Joe Center Road and North Arlington Parkway. Police say someone driving a gray Dodge Charger hit the boy's motorcycle and then kept driving. Officers found the teen unresponsive. He was taken to the hospital in life-threatening condition. A man and woman are dead after an apparent murder-suicide in the far east side of Indianapolis. Police say it happened around 3:20 yesterday morning at New Look Hair Salon on East Washington Street. Police say the shooting happened at a gathering at the salon after it had closed. IMPD hasn't released the victims' names or who they believe was the shooter.
We are asking again that anyone that knows anything about this mass shooting, and that's what I wanted to call it. It's a mass shooting. We want this shooting to be treated just as it happened in rural America. We want everyone to come forward and say, treat this if it was your daughter, your son, your brother, your cousin that was out here shot at this event.
Officials in Baltimore are pleading for the public's help after a mass shooting killed 2 people and wounded 28. Police say it happened at a block party just after 12:30 yesterday morning. According to police, an 18-year-old woman and a 20-year-old man died. They say most of the surviving victims are teenagers, including at least one as young as 13.
Going out to the families, sending out to the families and friends of these victims, as well as the community and our entire city.
Police have not announced any arrests. They say there were at least 2 shooters. It's not yet clear if they were targeting specific people or if the gunfire was random. Former Vice President and Indiana Governor Mike Pence is addressing new allegations against former President Donald Trump. According to a CNN report, Trump pressured then Arizona Governor Doug Ducey to find fraud in the state's 2020 election numbers. Trump also publicly attacked Ducey. Pence says he spoke to Ducey multiple times, but says he doesn't recall feeling any pressure to influence him.
The president and I, things came to a head at the end, Margaret. I've spoken about very openly, and the president and I continue to have a strong difference. I'll always believe that by God's grace, I did my duty under the Constitution that day in presiding over a joint session of Congress in the aftermath of the mayhem and the rioting But in the days of November and December, this was an orderly process. You'll remember there were more than 60 lawsuits underway. States were engaging in appropriate reviews, and that these contacts were no more than that.
Ducey left office earlier this year after 2 terms as governor. A spokesperson for Ducey says the former governor stands by his actions to certify the election. Congressman Andre Carson says a recent ransomware attack on the federal government is a reminder of the need for stronger cybersecurity programs. Carson spoke to News 8's government reporter Garrett Berquist in Sunday's edition of All Indiana Politics.
The ransomware attack in mid-June targeted the Department of Energy and several institutions of higher education. There were no impacts here in Indiana. Congressman Andre Carson is the ranking member of the House Counterintelligence Subcommittee. He says the attack is another sign of the need to invest in cybersecurity in both the public and private sectors.
Yeah, I'm always concerned by reports that come out of the DOE along with other governmental agencies. We were recently victims of a ransomware attack conducted by a Russian hacking group in our government. And, this incident, I think it really underscores the threat from a variety of groups, which has been growing over the past years. I think we have to take these threats very seriously and build up our defenses in a meaningful way, particularly where our critical infrastructure is concerned. So we have to do a lot more to really bolster our cybersecurity posture, both within the government and outside of the government, and confront threats from state actors as well as criminals.
How seriously should the state government here in the state of Indiana take this, along with academic institutions such as IU, and what sorts of things can Congress work with them on to help bolster their defenses?
Well, having worked for the state for nearly a decade, particularly with the Indiana Department of Homeland Security and the Excise Police, we do a lot with our university systems, and I think in collaboration with our universities, we're going to produce more trained cybersecurity professionals who can do these jobs, which is yet another reason why I support STEM education for young people here in Indianapolis and across our state.
All Indiana Politics airs every Sunday morning at 9:30 exclusively on Wish TV. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
Flight delays and cancellations are easing after a week filled with problems. According to FlightAware, airlines canceled about 9,000 flights and delayed tens of thousands more in the first 4 days of last week. The trouble eased significantly Friday through Sunday with 1,400 total cancellations. So far today, 521 flights are delayed nationwide. 82 are canceled across the country. 4 flights into or out of Indianapolis are delayed and 2 are canceled. More than 300 workers at an e-commerce provider in Greenwood are set to lose their jobs. Pitney Bowes sent a warn notice to the state last week, citing changing business needs as a reason to permanently close. It says 240 employees and 71 temp workers will be laid off between September 4th and the 18th. The warn notice did not include information about the future of the building. Several local Jewish organizations are speaking out about anti-Semitic flyers found around Indianapolis. The flyers and leaflets showed up late last week on sidewalks and lawns. Jacob Markey is the executive director of the Indianapolis Jewish Relations Council. He's encouraging people to not be intimidated by the anti-Semitism.
We're not going to let them win. We are not fearful. Our community is a very prideful community. We have a prideful, Indianapolis community. We're amazing partners of all different walks of life.
The Jewish Federation of Indianapolis does have a way to report hate crimes online. You can find it through our online version of this story. Just look for it in the As Seen on Wish TV section of wishtv.com. Now to Pacers Watch. The rookies start playing soon. The Pacers Summer League roster will be heavy with newcomers, including first-round draft picks Jarris Walker and Ben Shepherd. The Pacers' first Summer League game is Saturday at 8 o'clock against the Wizards. And a late comeback attempt was not enough to help the Indiana Fever snap a 3-game losing streak. The team took on Chicago Sky at home yesterday. Chicago led by as much as 14 in the third quarter. Kelsey Mitchell and Nalissa Smith combined for 53 points to help the team tie the game late. But it was this guy who would score last, followed by a Fever miss at the buzzer. Fever lose by 2 points, 89-87. The team's back on the road Wednesday night against Minnesota. But despite that loss, guard Kelsey Mitchell finished the weekend with 2 prestigious honors. Mitchell was presented with the WNBA's Don Staley Community Leadership Award before yesterday's game. She's helped tens of thousands of student athletes in her hometown of Cincinnati through her Kells Hoops Foundation. Mitchell was also named a reserve for the WNBA All-Star Game, a first in her 6-year career. The Savannah Bananas broke a record in Indianapolis. The team says more than 30,000 fans attended the games at Victory Field. That's the biggest crowd in Bananas history. The team shared the record on Twitter over the weekend. The team says, "Indy, you literally brought the thunder, and we'll be telling everyone about this weekend forever and ever." The Banana Ball World Tour continues in Akron, Ohio tonight. And to business headlines, international oil prices are on track to fall for 4 quarters in a row, the longest losing streak since the data started being kept in 1988. Oil prices have fallen as demand from China hasn't been as strong as expected, and oil was released from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Apple stock ended trading Friday valued at $3 trillion, the only company ever to reach that milestone. The valuation for the tech giant comes on the heels of its launch of the Apple Vision Pro and a stronger than expected quarterly earnings report in May. Elon Musk announced over the weekend that Twitter will temporarily limit the number of tweets users can read per day, with separate limits for paid and unpaid users. It's to combat AI programs that comb through posts to extract useful data from the platform. Verified accounts will be limited to reading 10,000 posts per day, while unverified accounts will have access to 1,000 per day. Spotify is in talks to test full-length music videos in the app. Bloomberg reports the service has already begun talking to partners about the product. Spotify has declined to comment. Instacart weighs in on what Americans like more for the 4th of July, hot dogs or hamburgers. Overall, people in 30 states, including Indiana, purchased more hot dog buns than hamburger buns. As Instacart shared, sales for mayo, ketchup, mustard, and relish spiked up by 79% during the week of July 4th of 2022. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.